Welcome back to another 5 on Fridays. We're keeping it rolling, the Ask the Expert series with Megan Arnold from Front Street Fitness / Ohio Health. Megan, how are you today?
I'm doing awesome, Brandon. Thanks for having me back.
Yes, absolutely. If you've missed the first two parts, we talked about the mind-muscle connection. We talked a little bit about the differences between mobility, flexibility, and stretching. So today we are going to talk about, I think, something that a lot of people have gotten on the hype train about in the last 10 or 15 years, foam rolling. The importance of foam rollers and other little techniques you can have and utilize. I think they've become all the rage in the fitness industry, Megan. So tell us a little bit about foam rolling, why it's good for us, why it's so important, and why everybody has one.
Before we start talking specifically about foam rollers, let's take a step back, if we could, and talk a little bit about the myofascia, the fascia of the body. What is it? So basically, a little bit of physiology without getting too much into the weeds. Fascia is a netting or a connective tissue that surrounds the entire body. So normally the myofascial system moves seamlessly throughout our body. However, if restrictions to the fascia happen, it can lead to pain. It can lead to loss of function in whatever area of the body that, we're referencing, stiffness, discomfort. And when one goes to use a foam roller, the goal there is to restore some mobility, perhaps improve circulation, and just overall improve the functionality of that body part. So physiologically speaking, inside of our muscles, we also have what's called Golgi tendon organs. And when those are triggered, they relax. So it's called reciprocal inhibition. So when you're taking a foam roller, there are a couple things you want to think about. A, is this discomfort or this tightness in this area? Is it, localized? Is there swelling? Is this perhaps maybe an injury? If it's an injury, you definitely don't want to foam roll it. You want to go to see a doctor and get a diagnosis. If it's something it's just kind of like a nagging type of discomfort and it feels more musculoskeletal, then that's when foam rollers are really helpful, because what they'll do is they'll put pressure on that specific area, those Golgi tendon organs in the muscle that I just talked about. They will relax when they feel that pressure sensation. So with a foam roller, a couple things that I really like to point out when someone comes to me is, number one, you can select multiple different types. So one thing you want to look at is, number one, the length. So this is one that I, brought in from home. It's nice and long. So it will support the whole spine, from the skull all the way down to the tailbone if you're lying on it that way. If you're wanting just something a little smaller, you've got different sizes that are a little bit shorter here. Now, what you can't really feel through the camera is the density in these. So this white one here is not very dense at all. It's pretty soft. So this would be for someone who's pretty tight, experiencing a lot of discomfort. This one has texture. So this one's going to provide a little bit more sensation. So you want to use this on maybe your back or areas that aren't quite as tender to the touch. And then this one's really, really firm. So this one's going to get really deep into the muscles. It's almost like if you're getting a massage and you're getting just like a relaxation massage, or you're going to schedule a deep tissue massage, kind of similar to those sort of things there. So you want to take into account the density of the roller, texture of the roller, size of the roller, and your discomfort. Last thing I wanted to touch on too, if you're experiencing a very localized trigger point per se, you may also want to consider using something that's smaller. So a tennis ball is good, a racquetball is good, and that way you can get right into that specific area, whereas this is going to be a little bit more broad as far as the area of the body that it's going to cover.
No, that makes sense. And I just wanted to jump in. I think for most people, one of the more common ailments that we hear of is plantar fasciitis, right? And as you talked about at the beginning, plantar fasciitis, most people have experienced it, even if you didn't know the term. That's not like real tightness that you have on the underside of your foot. And oftentimes you're like, oh, I have bad shoes on, or, oh, my arches, or this, that, and the other. But a lot of times, like, it's just that inflammation of that fascia on the underside of the foot. Very thin, very delicate. You utilize something like a racquetball or a tennis ball to sort of, like you said, target locally that little spot. You wouldn't want to use one of those big, long foam rollers on that area. That wouldn't do you much good.
Right. And that's a great way to think about it. With that small area underneath that arch of your foot, you're going to want to use something smaller so you can really get deep into that area. Another great option there too, Brandon, I always like to point out, is maybe freezing a water bottle, just like one of the disposable water bottles or the recyclable water bottles from Kroger's or something, and freezing that. And that way you can roll that, and the cold temperature helps with inflammation direction as well. If you are looking to roll out a less localized area, I usually recommend starting with a little bit longer rolls. So you're going to want to roll a little bit longer in size. So whatever body part, let's say, I'm just using this as a demonstration. You're going to start with like some small or some long rolls, nice and slow, maybe about 1 to 2 seconds. And then when you find that area that's triggering you, or that, you're like, oh, there's that tightness, then you're going to stay there and you're going to reduce the size of the roll and just kind of stay in that area for about 30 to 60 seconds so that muscle will subsequently release. And that's sometimes what I see. I'll see people just start off rolling really, really, really fast, and the body takes time to kind of sense what's happening. So you really got to start out slow and then maybe stay on that area a little bit more. You also want to make sure that you're not really foam rolling right on bones or joints, because that can cause excessive tension and some tenderness. So if you are choosing to foam roll and you're using the foam roller on your hips or your hamstrings or your legs, try to stay like away from the spine or the hips, like the actual bones and joints, and stay more on that meaty portion, that fascia, that muscle.
Yeah, no, really, really great tips. This is just scratching the surface. We could talk forever about foam rolling, and I just want to plug, you guys at Front Street Fitness are experts, and if you feel like you routinely experience, even after activities of daily living or doing yard work, contact the team at Front Street Fitness, reach out to them, pick their brain, ask them a bunch of questions. They can guide you in the right direction as far as what type of foam roller you might need or what type of other support you may be in need of. Megan, anything else you want to add about foam rollers? I know we sort of hit it real quick.
We did. No, just that I encourage anyone who's watching to stop over at any time. We have foam rollers here in the center, and it's something that you can do easily, and you can just stop in for 10 minutes and then head back over, and you'll reap the benefits of it. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely love it. Thanks again for your expertise. Thanks for the props from home and everything. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will catch you in the next one. We've got one more episode in the series with Megan coming at you very soon. So appreciate you watching. Until next time, we'll see you later.